Well, hello again, I guess. I don't really know how to start this one off other than, I was only gone for like 3 months, okay? So it's not as bad as last time, alright? Like, calm your horses. It's been a busy past few months, and by busy, I mean school. But other than that, I mean, hey, it's been kind of chill, I guess. I mean, other than the school, but yeah, we're back in business now because I finished up my school year, entering the summer break, and now I have free time to burn. So, hey, I guess this is a good season to be uploading more videos again. I guess, like, who knows? The urge that I had to title this video, I might be quitting YouTube, guys, and then you click on it, and I'm like, guys, I've been thinking about it for a while. I might be quitting YouTube. Also, go buy my new merch, my new Bitcoin, my new soda, and you should totally buy my new cracker sandwich or whatever. I don't know if they make those. Do they make cracker sandwiches? Kind of sounds gross. But no, it's not that. That would get a lot of views, but unfortunately, I don't really like clickbait, so we're not going to do that. Unless I'm getting desperate for views, maybe in the future. But, yeah, so that's why I was gone. Like, I'm just gonna put that explanation out there because that's not what this video is about. This video is not about me explaining all the months and what I was doing when I was gone. Just know that it was nothing exciting. It was schoolwork, and it was more schoolwork, and it is not exciting to talk about at all. Just know that I was busy, I'm not busy now, and you have new videos. That's all you need to know, really. But, yeah, so if you looked at the title, we're gonna be covering some more gaming stuff because while I was gone, just over the last 3 to 2 weeks, like, we have gotten massive gaming news. We had the State of Play, which was kind of mid, I'm not gonna lie. But then we had the Summer Games Fest, which was peak. We had the Xbox event, which was amazing. And we had the Nintendo Direct, which was solid. It was pretty solid, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there's a lot of hate for it. I can get some of it. I think people got their hopes up a little bit. I saw some of the predictions, like Metroid Dread 2 and Luigi's Mansion 4, and it was like, that's pushing it a little above the pay grade there, but it was still a solid direct, you know? Definitely felt like I was watching it like, kind of like how I watched the September direct backwards, where all the good stuff was at the start and then the bad stuff was at the end. In that direct, it was, all the good stuff was at the end, and the first half was fucking atrocious. Like, there was just nothing happening for the entire first half of that June direct. But then they made up for it with some cool stuff, which, well, we're going to talk about a few of them. Like, some of them I don't really feel like talking about, but because they weren't really, like, exciting enough to put on this list. Like, I guess I'll throw one out there. Nintendo Switch Sports Resort, I mean, that game looks kind of cool. I might play it. I mean, I'm one of those people that really like Switch Sports, so I don't know. I might play it. I don't know. But I guess we're gonna segue into gaming news. So much news. So many fucking gaming news. And I just put it together a bunch of games right here that in my notes of that got announced that really caught my eye in the gaming events. Like, first of all, the Cuphead devs came back and they basically announced Cuphead 2, that there's a new Cuphead game or some new game going on in their studio that they are working on, which was hype as fuck because I'm a big Cuphead fan. Not a big fan of the DLC, but the original Cuphead game, I'm a fan. I like it. I like it quite a bit. And Cuphead, like, well, I guess vague Cuphead 2 announcement, like, that's good enough for me. They didn't show off shit about the game because it's still being developed, but good enough for me. And they also, like, showed this new spin-off pixel art graphic game, which, hey, it looks kind of cool. We also had a God of War La Fey, which looks sick as fuck. Do not listen to the haters. I don't care if the main character of this game is a woman. Women are just as badass as men are, okay? And La Fey is fucking badass. And we have had two previous games, multi-hour games in this modern God of War saga that have been fully focused on Kratos. So what is the harm in making a game focused on Kratos' wife? I think La Fey is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but, like, something relating to Kratos. Like, why can't we have that? We have the trilogy remake coming out, like, in the next 1 to 2 years. Trilogy remake. The first 3 games remade. That is fucking huge. So I don't see the problem with this one. The game looks just as good as any other God of War game. The only difference is they switched the characters and people have a big issue with it. If they made a a different man, the main character, I guarantee you that way less people would have an issue. Maybe some people still have an issue with it because, oh, it's not Kratos, but way less than what I've been seeing because Jesus Christ. But the game looks cool. We also got Alien Isolation 2, which I haven't even played Alien Isolation. I've heard it's a great game. Just, you know me, I'm not big onto stealth games. Maybe in the future I'll play it, but this is still exciting news nonetheless. We already knew Alien Isolation 2 was announced. Like, they announced it months before this event, but we got like our first full confirmation that it was indeed called Alien Isolation 2. A small little teaser trailer. It looks pretty cool. You know, I'm surprised that this game even exists because I really did think that after the first one, like, that was it. They weren't going to do any more. Like, I thought the studio shut down, but... Or, I don't know if this is the same studio. Can I check? Let me see if I can check, actually. Oh, I can check. Perfect. It's made by Creative Assembly. Okay. And... the original was... Oh, yeah, it was made by... What the fuck? Sega published the game? Huh. Okay, so yeah, it is the same team that made the first Alien Isolation, which is hype as fuck. If everything I've heard from Alien Isolation 1, this game should be amazing. Like, if they have the same AI that they did in the first game, which has been praised to death, every time anyone talks about a horror game with amazing AI, that is always the top of the list. So I really hope that they knock it out the park with that one. And if it's good, maybe I'll play it. I might play the first one before the second one comes out. Stellar Blade 2... I haven't even played Stellar Blade, but I saw the trailer for this one at the Summer Games Fest, and this shit just looks like a Doom game if it was Melee. And they basically spoke Spanish to me, and that's a good thing because I fucking love Spanish. It's one of my favorite languages. I don't know how to speak it, but you get the point. Like, it's speaking sweet things into my ears when you say a Doom game that's Melee, because that's basically what this game is. You're ripping and tearing shit with your swords and your fists, and it just looks so fucking cool. I have no clue what's happening with the story, but it doesn't matter. The game looks so cool. Yeah, like, it doesn't even matter. I don't care what the story is. Just give me the gameplay. Maybe I should, because if I need to play Stellar Blade 1 to play this one, then I probably should do that, but if I don't, then I'm just going to jump into this one. Hopefully, like, if Stellar Blade 1 is much like what I saw in the trailer for Stellar Blade 2, then I might have to play me some Stellar Blade because that looks awesome. Like, I'm not even a fan of the game, and I thought it was sick as hell. So, I guess that speaks to it. Speaking of games that I'm not, I guess, like, a huge fan of, I've played them, but I'm just not a huge fan of, but The Wolf Among Us got trailers. What did I say? No, The Wolf Among Us got a sequel. Like, we got a confirmation of a sequel. I just brain lagged there for a second. We got The Wolf Among Us 2 and The Wolf Among Us Remastered. That's fucking huge, because I really thought The Wolf Among Us was dead. I thought we were never gonna get a sequel, but here we are. And not only are we getting a sequel, but a remastered version of the first game. Like, once again, you've spoken Spanish into my ears. Like, I might just buy it because of that. Because I like The Wolf Among Us. Well, it's been years since I've played it. I imagine if I replay it, I'd probably like it more, which I might with the remastered version coming up. But, like, even if I wasn't a Wolf Among Us fan, this will still be a hype as fuck announcement, because those fans have been craving for a sequel for, like, years at this point. So, it's great that they got their sequel. You see, but what I really want is a sequel to Origami King. I don't know why we can't have that, Nintendo. Or like a new Paper Mario game. Just give me something like that. Maybe in the next Direct. But that's not what that's about. We also got a massive amount of Persona news. We got Persona 4 Revival. Finally got a new fucking trailer. And a release date for it, 2027. Great stuff. The game looks fantastic. I've never played Persona 4, but I guess now is the time with the Revival version coming out. I low-key want to play this. The only one that I've played is Persona 3, and I really liked Persona 3. I haven't replayed it in a while. I played the original version before the reloaded version came out. So if I ever play it again, I'll probably have to get that. But, like, you get the point. Like, I haven't played Persona 4. I guess now is my chance to when this game comes out, because it looks fucking sick. And we also got a Persona 6 announcement. Like, back to back, basically, Persona fans just getting slapped in the face, but like a good slap, not like a bad slap that leaves like a red mark, you know? Like one of those slaps that leaves like a fucking golden mark or something. I don't know. Like, that is insane news. And in Persona style, they give you like fuck all in the teaser trailer, but all we know is that it's going to be green, and well, that's all we really need to know. So that's pretty hype. I guess we'll see in the next 6 years when this game comes out, because they didn't even give us sort of like a release timeline, so who fucking knows. And by far the most hype announcement out of all of these and any of these gaming events is the Doom, the Dark Ages DLC was announced at the Xbox Game Fest. That was the only reason I watched that event. I woke up at 12 and I was like, all right, we're watching this event with me and my friends who are also Doom fans, and we're going to see what happens. We're going to see if the Doom Dark Ages DLC gets announced, because it's been slated for 2026. They said it's coming soon and that it's almost done. The Doom the Dark Ages main game was announced at an Xbox event. Like, the stars just aligned. And honestly, at this point, like, it was really fucking obvious it would have been announced there, but like, still, it was hype as shit. Whenever I saw, but like, it's funny too, because I saw Bethesda Studios present and I was like, holy shit. And then it was Fallout 76 DLC, and I'm like, oh, I don't fucking care. And then they showed it again, and then boom, Doom the Dark Ages DLC, and it's like, wow. I don't even mind the fact that Fallout 76 preceded it, because it was just like, you know, lowering our expectations just to smack me in the face with this. I'm a massive Doom fan. That is going to be its own separate video, because I just fucking love Doom so much. That is going to be its own separate video when I eventually talk about Doom. But the trailer was amazing. Like, they basically just mixed Eternal and Dark Ages together with the meat hook, more movement and stuff. And it makes sense, because at this point in the game, he's transforming to what he eventually became in Eternal, and to an extent 2016. The game looks beautiful, the story looks beautiful, like everything about it just looks so fucking good, and it's coming out in July. I'm buying the premium edition this summer in the summer sale, because I need to play this shit on release day. I want that in my library. I'm gonna wake up, I'm waking up, I'm booting this shit, and I'm playing it from front to end. Probably gonna 100% it. Like, it looks so good. I can't even describe how hyped I am for that DLC. So fucking hype. That was the only reason I watched the event as well, and I was screaming like a motherfucker when it appeared. And I still like finished the event afterwards to see if any other cool things came, and we got Persona 6, so hey, it was worth it. I stuck around in the Xbox event. Speaking of Xbox event, I am not a Gears of War fan, but this new Gears of War game, E-Day, looks pretty sick. You know, I saw the trailer, and the guy's got a knife on his shotgun, and you know, viability be damned, that is cool as fuck. That is like some Doom stuff right there. And the game looks pretty good as well. Like, the gameplay looks solid, graphically looks just like a Doom game, kind of like mix of Left 4 Dead as well, because I think there was some co-op elements in there. Might even need to rewatch the trailer. It also got its own direct, so I mean, I guess I could just go there as well, but it looks really cool. Might have to familiarize myself with Gears of War, because I might play this one. It looks pretty sick. Speaking of other Xbox franchises that are pretty sick, Halo Campaign Evolved. And admittingly, I'm only putting this here because I am just a massive hopium sucking machine, because I get it. Halo 4 was mid, Halo 5 was cheeks, and Halo Infinite was also fucking mid. So why would we trust 343 again with another game? And I don't have a good answer for you. The trailer looked really good. It just looks gorgeous. The way that they rebooted the style of this game and brought it into the modern day, it just looks incredible. Some of the new content they added looks really cool, and it looks really fun, but god damn it, you just cannot trust 343 until the game is out and you're playing it and you finished it. So just for that, I'm not buying this game on release day, but if it gets really good reviews, I'm going to have to buy it, because Halo Combat Evolved is a fantastic game, and this looks like it has every reason to be better than that game. So hey, we'll see what happens. Oh, Deltarune, yes, this is next on the list. Deltarune Chapter 5 got announced, and like, Toby Fox's teasers just get better every time. When me and my friend were watching the Nintendo Direct, I saw the plant pop out and I'm like, oh shit, it's Pikmin. And then Toby Cornelius came out and I'm like, holy fuck, it's Deltarune. Like, these announcements just get better and better. And once again, like in a random ass, like just right in the middle of a Nintendo Direct, just like last time. Like honestly, it could have closed out the Direct. I would have been fine with that. But the chapter looks sick. It looks so fucking good. I've analyzed the trailer. Well, they didn't really give like a ton of us to chew on, but I got enough of a vibe to know where this is gonna go. And from everything you said in his blogs, like chapter 6 might like already be like in the stages of development. Same with chapter 7. Like we could be seeing Deltarune getting finished in like the next 2 years. Like that is insane. And we also got a release date. It's coming out in June 24th. Toby Fox, fuck you. I was really hoping it'd come out in August because my schedule is packed when it comes to games. And we're going to get into that when I go into the games in the library section once because we're going to be reviewing some games that I've played. But like, god damn it, Toby, where am I going to fit Deltarune into my schedule? Because I lost my old Steam account that had Deltarune on it, so I need to rebuy Deltarune in the summer sale. And it just so happens that the summer sale is one day after the game comes out, and I am immediately going to be playing Doom Eternal's DLCs and Doom 64 right before the Dark Ages DLC comes out. Like, Toby, it is unfeasible. I'm gonna have to be avoiding spoilers like a motherfucker. How dare you, Toby? But yeah, it looks really cool. I'm really hyped for it. It has the possibility to be the best chapter, but we'll see. We'll see. And finally on here, Ocarina of Time remake. I am not even that big of an Ocarina of Time fan, but I was hype as fuck when this got announced because this has been rumored for like months now, since the start of the year with like, I think there's like some leaks going around that there'd be an Ocarina of Time remake, and it turns out they were right. And I don't care if Link looks like this in the game, okay? I've seen some conversations that people don't like how Link looks in the game. And I'm just gonna say this: we have had 4 games, because 4 if we count the Hyrule Warriors games. We've had 4 games of the Breath of the Wild art style, and the one thing that I didn't want them to do if they were going to do an Ocarina of Time remake was just make Ocarina of Time Breath of the Wild and give it the same exact style that we've had before. So when I saw this trailer and I see some new fucking art style, like, I welcome that a lot more than if they just did the same shit. And I welcome it as well because it looks good. People think it looks like crap. I don't think so. I think it looks neat. I would love to see more about the game. They said 2026, so I'm going to assume it's going to be a holiday release. That is going to be their holiday game. 2026, like, absolutely insane release date, by the way. They didn't even give us, like, they just said 2026, and we have 6 months left, so I guess we'll find out. It's going to be December, though, I reckon, but I hope it improves on a lot of the issues I have with Ocarina of Time. You know, that game is it's got a strong point, but yeah, there are some rough edges that I think could be smoothed out in this remake. To an extent, we could have had a Majora's Mask remake as well, but hey, better than nothing, I suppose. That Nintendo Direct was so fucking weird. Okay, no, like, because I'm not even a From Software fan. I'm not a Souls fan, but because last year they announced the Dusk Bloods, right? And that was insane because that was a Nintendo exclusive From Software game, and we were like, holy shit. And we're like, oh my god, this game looks insane. From Software making a game on the Switch, and it looks incredible. It's bloody. Oh my god, I can't wait to dig into this. We have a release date of 2026. And let me tell you, when I saw Dusk Bloods in the Direct, I was like, fuck yes, finally. We've literally had radio silence on this game for a whole year. And then the trailer is just 90% recycled content from the Nintendo Direct trailer with like 1 or 2 new scenes. And that's it. And they announced a network test, or no, a closed beta test, something like that, for summer 2026. What the fuck? You couldn't give us more to show, like not even like a brand new trailer? Are you serious? I'm not even a From Software fan. That is so shitty. Imagine being a From Software fan. You're like, my god, I cannot wait for the Dusk Bloods. I can't wait for them to show off a trailer. You're watching this direct, you're like, oh. And then that's your reaction. Like, I feel terrible for the From Software fans. I'm aware that From Software does this a lot, but that doesn't mean it should be excusable. I hate it when the Silksong devs do that. Oh, speaking of which, the Silksong DLC, we still have not gotten a release date for that. They just told us 2026, and then they left. We haven't gotten news on months. What is happening? Who knows? But yeah, the Nintendo Direct was... It was definitely a little all over the place. There was a few other things like... Well, they did announce a few Xenoblade games, Xenoblade Genesis, and also the Switch editions for it. We got the release date for Fire Emblem, but I mean, I'm not a Fire Emblem fan. And we also got a Kingdom Hearts 4. I wish I could be more hyped about it, but I'm not a Kingdom Hearts fan, so there's that. It looks cool though, I'll say that. But yeah, like, you could tell, like, we haven't gotten into the game review section, and this video is already 22 minutes long. Like, that's how much gaming news there was, and this is only scratching the surface. There was more that I could have covered, like the fucking Among Us TV show and the Among Us game. I think I'll stop there because we'll be here all day, but all you need to know is that some shit was announced. If you haven't watched those events, I'd recommend watching them because there's more games that I didn't cover here that you might be interested in. So, yeah, a lot of gaming news. Wow, like, so much gaming news. So now, we're going to be shifting gears into the reviews portion. We've gotten over the gaming news stuff. We're going to be shifting into the reviews portion side. And look, I promise you, I've played a lot more games than this. I'm just saving quite a few of them for other videos. Like, I played the entire Doom franchise, but I'm saving that for its own video because I need a full video to talk about Doom. I also played a Mori, but that's going to be its own video. And the Subnautica games, all like 3 of them, that's also going to be its own video. So I'm just covering the ones here that I can and will cover in this video. And those other ones will be separate because those are big enough that I want to cover them in their own video. So there's that. But we're gonna start off with I just brain lagged again. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, right, yeah, okay. We're gonna be reviewing the games that can't fit in those videos, and we're just gonna be reviewing them here instead. Starting off with Dying Light. A game that I was very intrigued and excited to play because everything that I've heard about this game, it spoke... Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, spoiler warning for like every single game I'm going to talk about here. If you have not played these games, I recommend you to. But yeah, I'm going to be spoiling the shit out of these games. So there's your spoiler warning. But back to Dying Light. Everything that I've heard about this game sounded like it was just made for me. Like, holy shit. It just sounded like it was made for me, created for me, sculpted for me, because it was an open world game with no boundaries, parkour, zombie, drop kicking, and it was like quest based, which means there's a bunch of side quests and shit. You like there's quests all around the world. You have to go from one area to another. Like, boom, I'm sold. Like, I've already bought your game by that point. It doesn't matter how much it is. Like, that concept hooked me immediately. And let me tell you, it did not disappoint at all. Everything involving the open world, the zombies, the drop kicking, and the quests, like, mwah. Yes, that is what I fucking wanted. Like, I used to think that Breath of the Wild was the one that reinvented open world into being truly open world. Like, that game, like, curved the wheel. But after playing Dying Light, I don't think that's the case anymore. I think Dying Light was ahead of the chase when it came to that, actually, because I'd even argue even more to the chase, because this game is so massive, there's so much to do, and the parkour elements just make it so much better. Because in Breath of the Wild, you still need the paraglider when you start out the game, you know? Like, you still need that thing for to explore the entire map. Not in Dying Light. That map opens up, you can literally go anywhere. You can fuck off the main quest and you can just explore the entire town before you even do a single quest line. As soon as you're finished awakening and you get outside the world, you're free to go, basically. Like, you're not bound by anything. Nothing. Which is amazing. That is what I wanted. That is what I expected. And that is exactly what I got. It is one of the most fun experiences I've had just going through the open world, looting houses, you know, getting my weapons crafted, drop kicking the occasional zombie, and just taking in the beauty of the open world. And it's not too big to the point where walking to shit like feels exhausting. Every time you walk to something, it always feels very rewarding, and it always feels fun because there's always so many zombies on the way there that you either want to like avoid or fight. And that's really the basis right there. And it's a really smart gameplay loop, a really smart one, because oftentimes you'll have to make split-second decisions. It's just like, okay, there's a lot of zombies here, and I could drop kick them for the funsies, but I don't know if it's really worth it. You don't want to alert the virals. Those motherfuckers are vicious, you know? And then you get to other situations where like yours is a bunch of zombies, there's barely any cover, there might be a van you can stand on, but you really need to go somewhere quick, so you just pull off some insane Tomb Raider shit and you just scale your way all the way on top of a house. Like, the parkour physics in this game are absolutely insane, the stuff you can do. I'm yapping about this part of the game a lot because that's really the part that I enjoyed the most, and the combat's really fun as well. Like, just slashing zombies with an axe, the drop kicking, which is overpowered as shit, the grappling hook that I unfortunately only got at the end of the game. I wish I had it earlier because the grappling hook's a lot of fun. I used it a little bit after I completed the game. Like, just all the combat stuff feels so nice to use, and it fits so well with the parkour stuff. So that part of the game I really enjoyed. Other portions of the game, well, I still really enjoyed it. I think there are some parts that are a little flawed. I'm going to start off with the story, because Dying Light, people have always told me, many people, that the story of Dying Light is kind of dog shit. That's at least what I've heard. And so going into this game, I was like, okay, well, it's probably not going to matter. I mean, the game's open world anyway, so I don't think the story's going to play too much of a part. It's probably not a big focus. And that was not true in the slightest. In fact, the story is a massive focus. There's full cutscenes, voice acting, everything. Like, the story really is the forefront. Like, it's not just the background, it is the forefront. And so I was like, oh, well, that doesn't bode well. What if the story sucks? And I'm happy to say that the story did not suck. I think it was pretty solid. Not cinema, but I think it was pretty solid. But I can see where people's issues lie, because I do have a bit of issues with the story. I think the concept of the story of Crane, you need to play these double sides, and you constantly, like, these double sides, because he's hired by the GRE. The reason why he's there is because he needs to get a file for the GRE. This file can reportedly, like, it could be like life-changing shit. They really need that file. There's some really important stuff in there, and he needs to get it. And then he gets attacked and gets saved by these people in the tower. And now he has to help them, but at the same time, he's playing both sides because he also needs to tend to the GRE. And the GRE order him to do some wild shit like, hey, you should burn all that, what the fuck was it called? The incident or whatever it is. The antidotes, like, the little things that make you not turn crazy and infected in a zombie. And that's and like, it brings some interesting cases where, like, he has to play two sides. Like, he doesn't want to work with Rise, but A, he has to because the people need the antizen. Okay, that's what it was. And B, the GRE says that he has to because he's likely the one that has the file. And you constantly see him struggle throughout the game of, okay, who am I going to choose here? The GRE or the people? And very early on in the game, like, it happens surprisingly early, he's like, fuck you guys, if I find that file, I'm gonna be the last person that knows what to do with it. If you guys are still gonna be like this by the time I get that file, I'm gonna burn that bitch. Screw you guys. And then he just drops all contact with them, basically. Like, that right there, I was like, fuck yes, that's what you should be doing, Crane. It happens very early in the game as well, so you're like, okay, so is that storyline done? But no, because now the GRE is being taken over by the military or something, some sort of upper government agency, like a security something or whatever. But basically, they're gonna bomb the city now because they've convinced the outside world that there are no more survivors left, and so they've been given the go-ahead to bomb the city. So now the next step is, okay, we got to make sure that they don't bomb the city. You know? So their first thing is, okay, let's make, like, a tower, and we make, like, a help sign with fire. And they do that, and then a jet shoots it down. They're actively trying to suppress the survivors so they can justify blowing up the city, all because they didn't get their little file. No, actually, because Rise leaked the fucking file, and this entire thing is basically just a cover-up. It's just like, okay, there's no survivors there, we're just gonna blow up the entire thing. There's nothing in that file, don't worry. Which, by the way, the file was they were going to weaponize the virus, so yeah, they were not what they seemed. It makes me respect Rise a little bit more, but the shit he does later in the game, ooh boy. And so after that, it's basically, okay, now we gotta get a radio tower. We gotta let the people that are coming with the missiles know that we're still alive in this very intense sequence. And then he gets that radio tower thing. He's like, we're still alive, and they're like, shit, they're still alive. Turns around, boom, people saved. But even at the end, now the GRE and Rise are working together, because now Rise has made a deal with the GRE to put himself off to the mainland. Now that I think about it, I don't really know why they made that deal, but like blah blah blah. You get this final sequence with the GRE. They're still trying to convince Crane, buddy, just trust us, okay? Like, we were gonna do this, we were gonna do good, you know? Like, you could find these scientists, like, because we talked to a few scientists that can possibly make a cure. It's like, if you gather these guys up, we could possibly make a cure and stuff. Just forget everything that was in that file and all that. And Crane is not having any of it. Crane's my favorite character in this game. He's like, fuck you guys, I'm not working for you anymore. Go piss off, I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do next. I think, like, that whole portion that I was talking about, everything that pertains to Crane and the GRE, that stuff is fantastic. I loved the way they handled it. Now, the other stuff where I get my issues is everything else is a little mixed. Partially characters. This game has a massive hard dick for killing off characters that seem important at first, but then get killed off, and it's like, oh, well, turns out they weren't important. Like, fuck, what's his name? Rysum, the fucking dude at the start of the game that, like, gave us that whole sequence where he, like, taught us parkour. I forgot what the fuck his name was, but the annoying kid that's, like, the father to Brecken. I forgot what his goddamn name was, but that guy, like, he's an interesting character at first, because he's this kid. He's obviously like this kid, you know, probably been mentally damaged by this virus, because he definitely acts like a child to an extent, you know, doesn't have like the mental maturity to like be in like this high authority. He wants to blow up this building so that he can stop all the volatiles, and he wants to get his hands on explosives. And they set up something really interesting with the relationship between him and Crane, and him and Brecken, and him and Jade, and a lot of other things, because Jade and him and like they're both siblings, and he's the last of the family that is left, because the guy Ari, I think that's his name, saved us in the beginning of the game, but he lost his own life doing that, and Jade was pretty upset about that. So that is a very interesting dynamic, and it leads to an interesting twist where he's like, fuck you, Crane, I'm gonna go blow up this building myself. And he gets himself into some shit because of it, where he's like, Crane, we've been attacked, the building's being overrun with zombies, we're kind of fucked. And you find him, you take the detonator, he's like, just leave me. And you come back, and he's a zombie now. He lied. He's saying, oh yeah, don't worry, no, I just cut myself, but in reality it was a bite wound, and now he becomes a zombie, so now Crane has to kill him. I think that was an interesting plot twist to have Rahim, I remembered his name now. It was an interesting plot to have Rahim just say, no, screw you, Crane, I'm gonna do this. And I think it's interesting to have a character do that, because Crane is low-key treated as a god in this game. But the payoff to his death, I don't think was really needed. Like, the payoff, like, it felt a little unneeded, and I felt like there could have been more developed there, because the most you get is Brecken has some reaction to it, and you get Jade's reaction to it, and then she goes storming off, and you don't get, like, the conclusion to that storyline of Jade's reaction to Rahim's death until a bit later in the game, like, quite a bit later, actually. It's when you go to the old town, but yeah. And I don't want to say it feels unnecessary, because it's integral to the story, but it feels like more could have been built up on it, because we don't spend enough time with Raheem to really build up his character and stuff. And we have Spike, the guy in that one thing that has a really good voice that like kind of gives us quests and like jobs and stuff to do. He's the guy that we have with our first assignment quest where we need to set up the traps. He just dies when they raid the building to find one of the doctors that can get the cure, and he's just dead. In fact, the game barely mentions it. Like, I only found that out after pretense. I'm just like, oh yeah, right, bingo, that Spike guy. Yeah, he was there. Oh yeah, I guess he died, but you know, it is what it is. Like, we didn't spend any time with him. The doctor, I forgot what his name was. I actually cannot remember his name this time. I'm not gonna remember it. But the other doctor, that gets captured by Rise, also gets killed off. And once again, it's just like, okay, I guess this has significance because he did have like the keys to the cure, but like, what exactly does this, like, he's dead now, but now what? Like, where's like there's not enough payoff or build up. That's the big thing. And you could say, oh, well, maybe that's just how the game does it all the time. But no, because way later in the game, when we get to Old Town and we like are going with like into the museum, trying to find Rise with Jade and stuff, Jade dies. But the difference is the sequence leading up beforehand, where you're in this dream world and you're trying to reach Jade, and she's having this conversation with you about the thoughts that she had whenever Ari saved you, and the thoughts she had afterwards, the guilt, and Raheem's death, and all this kind of stuff. Like, that was done extremely well, and the death itself felt very impactful, especially considering that even before that time, we spent a lot more time with Jade, especially since we had a whole quest, siblings. We had a whole quest that we basically, like, hung out with Jade for a good portion of it. And it made that death feel very impactful when it did eventually happen. And I just wish that all of them were like that, where they were all built up to an extent, because it really feels like it's quick fire. You think this guy's gonna be one of the main characters? No, he's dead. Speaking of main characters, Brecken. What the fuck, dude? Brecken was really cool for the little bits that we got of him, and I wish there was more, because he's a really cool and interesting character, and I don't think they do enough with him. I really don't think so. I wish we got more of him. Rise is really cool, though. I will give that. Rise is a maniac, and he does not hide that in the slightest. Neither does the game. And I just love seeing the crazy shit that he does as the game goes on and on. Nothing he does or, like, nothing he says or does makes any sense, and it doesn't need to. He's a fucking psychopath. It doesn't need to make sense, which is perfect for that character that they're trying to portray there. I wish that we got to fight him for real instead of the QuickTime events in the final sequence, but hey, we gotta poke his eye out or something. No, I think we slash his throat. I forgot what happened in the end, but something along those lines. But yeah, the entire sequence leading up before the Rise fight was plenty supplementary anyway, so it wasn't terrible, but yeah. Was there anything else in terms of characters or like story? Oh, okay, well, I do think it ends a little abruptly, just a teensy bit. I do think it ends on like this open note, and then the following DLC, which is literally called The Following, does expand on the story. I probably won't play The Following because it does away with the whole parkour gimmick and instead is focused on cars, which doesn't interest me nearly as much as parkour does, so I'm on the fence if I'm going to play it. But if I do want to play it, then I can very easily do that because the game goes on sale for very dirt cheap. But I'll think about it. I'm on the fence with it. But yeah, like, Dying Light, very, very great game, but it's not quite perfect because of those issues. Actually, no, I just remembered another one. This is not relating to the story. This was actually one of my main issues with the game. This game can have some nasty frame drops sometimes, for really no reason. I have a beefy PC. My PC can run basically any game without any issues. For whatever reason, Dying Light will just have these moments where the frame rate gets noticeably shit, and I don't know why, even when I turn my graphics down. It's especially bad in Old Town. Specifically after you talk with Troy in a quest, my frames went down to like 10 to 20, And I'm like, holy shit, this is almost unplayable. How am I gonna play like this? I turned my graphics down and it still didn't fix it, so I'm like, fuck. I actually have to live like this. Thankfully, the lag did wear off. I have no clue what could have caused it, but yeah, that part was especially nasty. The game ran smoothly after that, but there's moments where it drops, and I don't know why it does that at all. But besides those like issues that I listed, like issues with the story, frame drops, fantastic game. I would give it a 9 out of 10 and would highly recommend it. Would not highly recommend the sequels though, because I haven't heard great things about them. I don't want to play Dying Light 2, I just don't feel like it. I'll probably play The Beast though, we'll see, but yeah, I had a very good time with Dying Light, so there's that. Next up, we have Signalis, and I'm putting review in quotations because, well, this isn't really a full review because I didn't finish Signalis, and I honestly don't know if I ever will. So, like, I could just end it there, but I'm gonna explain why. So, Signalis, I started this game in, like, May or something. I played it for a few days, and I dropped it, and I haven't picked it up since. It's June now, and I don't know if I ever will pick it up. This might be, like, up there with, like, Prey and Inscription for games I might never get around to playing or finishing, because Signalis is a very frustrating game. Everything about that game is perfect, except for that one little thing, that one little fucking thing that makes the game it is. It's a survival horror game, and the game has combat. Obviously, it's a survival horror game, but the combat in this game, unless it's my inexperience with survival horror, like calling, I've played a decent bit. I've played Resident Evil. I played Amnesia: The Bunker. Unless it's my inexperience with survival horror talking, I fucking hated the combat in this game. Like, I cheated on it before. Like, I was playing the game, I was like, okay, this ain't too bad. But as soon as I got to the protectors part of the game, I was fucking livid. I was so, like, pissed off by the combat that's the entire reason why I dropped the game, because after that point, like, the game becomes more combat focused, unlike the previous chapters where the combat is very much in the background and there's not as much combat, you know? Like in the hospital section or the opening section, there is combat, but not to the same level. But not in Prospectors. And from everything I've heard about the later parts, it does not get any better. I heard something that they take away your map in one of the parts, and that is, like, what the fuck, man? No. Yeah, disgusting. Why would you do that? And I'll explain why I don't like the combat. The first thing, the game starves you for ammo, which I'm aware is part of survival horror. That's fine. The issue that I have with it is that, one second, let me get a drink of my water. Never mind, that was not water, that was juice. I lied, but okay. The issue I have with the combat is that oftentimes you will not be able to kill everything in this game. In fact, I think it's actually impossible to. You will always have to choose between whether you want to kill something and whether you want to avoid it and try to stealth between them. And I think that is interesting, but the issue that I have with it is that sometimes it makes me almost, like, nervous to play the game, because I'm in a room and I'm like, okay, so there's this person, there's that person, they're blocking my doorways. I don't know if either of these doorways are locked, but I probably should check because I don't really know where else to go, and I want to scout the whole map before I do cleanup. And should I kill them or should I sneak past them? But they're right in front of the doorway I want to go, but if I shoot one of them, it's going to alert the other, so I'm going to have to inevitably shoot them, and that might cause a lot of... Like, you get to points like that in the game, and it's just like, okay, Like, the concept is interesting, but now it's getting to the point where I don't know if I'm enjoying it. And it's getting on my nerves now, like, you know? And the other thing is, okay, well, what if you just shoot the thing? Like, it's dead now, right? And you would think it would be, but no, because things can respawn in this game. If they're like dead for long enough and you go back into that room, there's a high % chance that they will respawn. And this is a game where you will need to be doing a lot of backtracking, because that is the whole point. When you get into an area, you're going to be doing a lot of backtracking to solve different puzzles and find which goes where. Inevitably, you're going to have to go down hallways where there are things that are dead, and there's a 20% chance that that thing is going to come alive. And you'll need to waste more bullets. Because, or you could try to sneak past them, but by the point they get up, they've already fucking saw you, so why even bother with this shit? Like, it is so frustrating. It just got on my nerves. It wasn't fun by that point. It was just okay. And they give a good story reason as to why the bodies, like, respawn, as in, like, they basically, like, revive themselves. Like, there's a lore reason for it. I just think it sucks in execution in terms of gameplay. I just don't like it. Because you also get these things like flame sticks. You put them on the body and the body will stay down forever. And I think that's very interesting because you have to choose which hallways you want to do it with. The issue is they give you like fucking 5 of these, and 5 is not nearly enough. You need to give me more of these things, because let me tell you, some of these hallways have more than 2 enemies. Like, but by that point in the game, I had acquired maybe 3 of them, and I was halfway through Protectors. So that's kind of how far I was in the game. I had 3 of those things, and I already used 1, so I had 2. How in the fuck? Like, do you... like, where am I even supposed to use these things now? I have 2 of them. There are so many places I could use them that now I just don't want to use them now, because there are so many different places where I could use them. If that... Like, I hope I'm making sense there, but I think you could somewhat understand. I just don't like the combat at all. And the frustrating thing, the really frustrating thing, is that everything else about this game is fantastic. I love the style of the game with the whole slightly pixelated, and then you get like to like parts where it's like kind of 3D, and then you get like these really cool cutscenes and animations and stuff. I love the lore and the story. It was really abstract, and I really love how they presented it in a really creepy way. The game is creepy, very fucking creepy. It's one of the most eerie games I've ever played. Just in the ambience, the vibes, and the story, and the monsters, everything about it is just really, really eerie, and it is perfect for the type of game it goes for. I think that the actual gameplay itself is really fun. Backtracking through these areas, solving these puzzles, and like figuring out which goes where is really fun. It's really fun. And there's other parts that I really like about the game as well. Like it's paced really well. Like, just like anything else that isn't the combat, I can praise about this game. But the combat just fucking ruins it. It ruins it completely. It really pains me that I have to drop that I dropped this game, because I was getting really into it. I was really into the story and what the game was trying to say, and I still have not been spoiled on that story, so it's not too late for me to try and get back into it, but the combat constantly is pushing me away, and I just don't feel like playing the game. Every time I'm like, man, I really want to play Signalis, I'm always like, well, you'll have to get through prospectors, and you have to fight the enemies and stuff, and it's like, come on, man, what the fuck? I just want to see the story. Like, I even put the game on like the lowest settings by the time I got to hospital, because I was like, okay, by this point the combat's fine, but I'm really interested in the story, so I'm gonna put this on accessible. Maybe that'll make the game any easier, but it doesn't really change much, honestly, because the enemies respawning is really the big deal breaker. Like, it doesn't matter how strong they are or how much damage they'll do, the enemies spawning is a massive deal breaker. So it honestly It honestly doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter at this point. It doesn't matter at that point. Like why even have the option if it doesn't, like, what the fuck? Like, I would love if this game had an assist mode where, like, you could just, like, turn off the fact that enemies can respawn and, like, give yourself infinite ammo or something. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, I accidentally clicked a YouTube thing. But, because, like, if that was in the game, then I could easily complete this, but I just did not enjoy my time with it because of that. By the time I got to Prospectors, I was really just slogging through the game because I was interested in the story. But eventually it even got to the point where I couldn't even enjoy the story because combat, you know, like, okay, I'm running myself into corners, but I'm sure you get the point. It's frustrating, very frustrating that I had to drop this game because of that, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I just didn't have the willpower. And maybe one day I'll eventually say, you know what? I'll try again. I'll try again, back to the save that I had, and I'll try to finish this game. But until then, I might never get around to finishing it. And if that ends up being the case, then I might just watch a playthrough on YouTube, like one of, like, those no commentary things, because I really am interested in the story, but I do not want to slog through the game to get to that point. So yeah, no. No. Disgusting. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, every time I think about the combat, I get disgusted. Ugh. The worst part is that it's really, like, on a technical level, it's a very well-designed combat loop. I just find it terrible to play through. That's just probably me, though. There's a lot of people that absolutely love this game and think it's the cream of the crop of survival horror. And in all fairness, they're probably more experienced with the genre than I am. That's probably why they like it so much more. Maybe my inexperience of the genre is tainting my view of the game, but I don't know. No. So, I mean, like, I can't really give a rating for this because, like I said, this isn't really a review, more as well, it kind of is a review of what I've played so far. But if I had to give a rating at this point, I'd give it a cookie out of 10, I guess. Like, I don't know. But maybe if I do eventually finish Signalis, trust me, I will make a dedicated video on it, because maybe the story will impact me in such a way that it doesn't matter that the combat is dog ass, or the combat will be so dog ass that I drop the game a second time. No matter what happens, even if I do finish this game, I don't think there's a realm where I'm going to start liking the combat. I'll just have to truck through it because, oof, boy is it rough. Boy is it rough. Moving on. Alright, we're going to move on to an actual game review now, a game that I've played and fully finished. That's not Signalis. We're going to be talking about Dusk, because I had this game on the chopping block, and it was on the lower end of my chopping block. I wasn't really too, like, enamored with it, I guess. I was like, okay, well, I mean, you're really cool, but, like, I'm fine if I push you to the side for other games. And I ended up speeding through, like, most of my games, so I'm like, damn, I'm already getting to this one now. I thought I was going to get to this one in, like, the summer, but oh well. Earlier is better than that. I mean, maybe it'll be a good game, you know? And I played it, and fuck, man, Dusk surprised me. I thought it was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be this good. It's honestly shocking how much I loved this game. Like, it is shocking. I thought it was going to be like a solid 8 out of 10, like, just very good boomer shooter. Not the best in the genre, but a very good boomer shooter. And it was not that at all. It was an absolute, it's one of my favorite shooters that I've ever fucking played. I love Dusk so much. Let's just, like, go for the basics. Like, this is a Doom clone, so you're already kind of singing sweet lullabies in my ear with that, because I fucking love Doom. So, like, you already caught me with that. But this game just takes everything that Doom does and it turns it up by 100. B-hopping, strafing. Well, strafing is in the game, and not only that, but you can B-hop as well, just like Half-Life. Perfect. The gunplay, you like the one shotgun in Doom, right? Well, guess what? Now you have 2, technically. You like the super shotgun from Doom? Well, guess what? The super shotgun's just in the fucking game. It's even called the super shotgun. they have the dual upgrades for all the weapons and stuff. Not all the weapons, but for like the pistol and the shotgun, which actually give you a reason to use those weapons, as they have much quicker what's the word, reload rate by technicality, and it actually gives you a reason to use those, as you can use them for some quick fire damage compared to other weapons where you can't use that. So it kind of balances itself better than Doom does, where like once you get the super shotgun, the other shotgun is fucking useless. Same as when you get the pistol. Like once you get other weapons other than the pistol is also useless. But I really liked it about the game, the way it balances the weapons. Oh my god. It introduces some really cool new weapons, like the Riveter and the other one, the grenade launcher one. Those add some really cool effect to the battlefield, because like you kind of have two different, like they're both explosives, but they both play in a different way, where one is kind of like there's a bigger explosion, but you have less margin for error, and the other one is it's a smaller explosion, but you're basically pinpoint accuracy. That's kind of the difference between the two, because the grenade launcher can't fire high, so you have to fire it basically when you're at ground, because it's a grenade. It hits an enemy and explodes, of course, but you have to hit the enemy first, and if you're trying to hit it in the air, then it's not going to work out. And the Riveter is not that. The Riveter is basically like, you can shoot, like, it's basically just like an explosion launcher. You can shoot anything, but the explosion is not as big as the grenade launcher, so it balances itself out very well there. Like, I don't know why I'm talking about the weapons first, but it's just very well balanced in that department. But where the creep of the crop is just... the game is just a blast to play. Like, from front to back, it is a non-stop throwing everything at you, like gore fest, basically. Like, you're just slaughtering shit left and right, just like Doom, all while a surprisingly kick-ass soundtrack plays in the back. I was not expecting to enjoy the soundtrack to this game this much, but the soundtrack fucks. Like, it is honest to God become one of my favorite video game soundtracks. That is always what I'll be listening to on a daily basis. Like, Bleeding Out, Mind Control, Handgun Harmony, Departure to Destruction, Sacrifice. Like, there are so many bangers in that soundtrack. It is immaculate. And just like Doom, it splits itself into episodes. I think it does it better than Doom, though, because I think it's a lot easier to build yourself up from episodes. That's something that I didn't like from Doom 1, is every time that you started a new episode, you're always relegated to the basic things, you know, every time, and you always have to rebuild your arsenal, and I don't find it to be fun. I think Dusk does it a lot better, because I feel like your arsenal increases much faster in Dusk. That, and you have so many more options in Dusk, so it feels a lot better because of that. I think that is very good. And yeah, I guess we'll talk about the episodes themselves, the maps. I really don't like, I mean, it's just almost, yeah, like this is just like a glaze fest, because there's not a single map in this game that I would call bad. I loved every single one of them. I think every episode has their merits to it. Episode 1 is a fantastic opening episode. It introduces everything perfectly with some really, really good environments. And it ends a little poorly. We'll get to that. But overall, it's a fantastic episode. Dead of the Night is one of my favorite levels, and it has some of the best music in the game as well. Episode 2 builds on what episode 1 does, but the difference is that I feel like every episode feels distinct from each other, because episode 1 enemies, most episode 1 enemies are not going to be in episode 2, and there will be brand new enemies, and a lot of enemies from episode 2 will not be in episode 3, and there will be a lot of brand new enemies. But episode 3 is kind of a weird case, at least in the end, where like, but we'll get to that. And episode 2 just takes everything that episode 1 does it bigger and more complicated, and mixes up the formula in a really, really nice way. Introduces a lot of cool things. Has probably the best level in the game in the Esker Labs, which, especially after playing Fraud in Ultra Kill, it really goes to show that Fraud might have been a little bit inspired by Esker Labs, and I think Akita did indeed say so himself in a screenshot once, because a lot of the shit from Esker Labs feels like some Fraud stuff. Like, I felt like I was playing Fraud again, and when the level was over, I'm like, fuck, man, is there another one of those? I want to do that again. There is so many cool stuff that he does with the geometry of this level, and the way it slowly, like, eerily builds up to that payoff, and all the weirdness with it's just so fucking cool. I could yap about that level all day. That's probably my favorite, like, back-to-back-to-back levels in the game. I love Esker Labs, I love the reactor, and I love Neo Babel, and everything else in the episode as well. It's just all around great, and it has a much better ending than episode 2 does. And just when you think that it couldn't get better than that, it gets better than that, because episode 3 takes everything it does and just shoots it through the fucking roof. Not like the environments are bigger and better, the enemies are better than ever. They add some new interesting things to the levels themselves that make them play a lot more interestingly. And they just throw so many really cool concepts, like fire and ice. I'm aware that it is an overdone concept technically, but I don't know, the way Dusk does it, the super lava-y, like floors and lakes at the bottom, and you can see smidges of the outside, eventually going to the outside, and it's just this frozen void of fuck all except for these structures, is really, really cool. You have the City of Shadows, which is basically this game's version of a certain level from Ultra Kill 2, I guess. But like, it's very open world, and you can do a lot of things out of sequence, you know? It looks beautiful, and it's a really cool concept, because episode 3 can get as wacky as it wants. Episode 1 and 2 were somewhat grounded to reality, not episode 3, because we are in a different dimension in episode 3, so they can get as wacky as they fucking want. And there are just so many cool episode 3 moments, like Crypt of the Flesh, also competing with my favorite level in the game. That is the only time where Dusk truly scared me and turned into a full-on horror game. I hate the horrors. Fuck those enemies. And then you get Blasphemy with that massive fucking tornado, which is just like, ooh, that's so cool. You get Brimstone Ghetto, which is one of the best combat levels in the entire game. Just constant throwing shit at the wall, and it's like, fuck yes. You get Homecoming, which is one of the most mind-bending, boggling experiences I've ever had, and it's not even necessarily just in the gameplay front. It's just like, it pulls some Esker Labs bullshit out of its ass, and it was pretty fun to witness. Except for like, there was like this one part where I was kind of confused. I'm like, okay, where am I supposed to go? And then I was like, oh, there's a button I needed to press there on that island. I was kind of stupid, so I should have seen that. And man, the way episode 3 concludes, as above so below, where like it recaps the events, it brings back enemies from episodes 1 and 2, and it just like brings all of them back in this last hurrah. You get the music, which makes references to Alienation Akimbo, and then it ends with you going like it's sort of like a what's a good word I can use for this? You kind of sort of realize that you're basically playing the game backwards when you play this level, because you're treading back to that same house that you broke out of in the start of episode 1, and you go back on those chains, and that was really cool callback. Dweller in the Darkness is just straight up the final test of the entire game. It is wave after wave after wave of enemy. Every single enemy in the entire game, every single boss in the game as well. They throw the 3 bosses just all at once at you. It throws everything just to truly see if you are worthy. And that all culminates in one of the best final levels I've played in a shooter. The final level of the game, Dusk, is literally just called Dusk. When I opened it and it was just called Dusk, I had a neuron activation, because when your final level is titled what the game is titled, you know it's going to be some good shit. And the bosses are amazing. You fight basically like V2. You fight a version of yourself. The fight suddenly ends. You get slaughtered by the cult members, and then suddenly you get Minos fucking Prime, because it's voiced by the same guy that voiced Minos Prime, and you get the true final boss, which is easily my favorite in the entire game. Like, you are fighting relatively small-sized bosses, and then you get the fucking, I don't even know how to pronounce his goddamn name, but like the Cthulhu guy, and he's just this massive hulking beast, and it's like, where the fuck were you this entire game? Like, I was not prepared for a fight like this, and it's such a cool way to end off the game. The ending is dark as shit as well. It's some Half-Life stuff where you never actually kill the guy. Instead, he stops you in his tracks, says you are worthy, and brings his power to you. So now you've become a slave for this cosmic being, and that is going to be your legacy now. A quick reminder that this game started because the guy just heard that there was some treasure. Like, he heard, oh, there's treasure? Ooh, I want some of that treasure. And now instead he got teleported to a fucking alternate dimension. And now he's a slave. Rough times for Dusk, dude. And beyond that, there is so much extra content in this game. There's the secret levels, there's the secrets. You can 100% it as well. There's a lot of fun to be had there. There's endless mode, there's Dusk World. And then if you're bored of this, you can play Dusk HD, which is basically like an HD remake of the original game in visual style and model style. And it's just a it's just such a replayable fucking game. Like, goddamn, I love Dusk so much. It's not perfect though. There are like 1 or 2 issues I have with it. One, some parts can feel a little bullshit, I will admit. There are some parts where I was like, alright bro, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense, yeah. And I do think that no, just the one, but the horse boss at the end of episode 1 is kind of mid. Like, it's basically just like, controversially, like, I also don't like the cyber demon from Doom 2, which I know is controversial because people say that people love that boss, but it has the same problem as that boss has, where the boss has one attack and you're spending the entire fight just circling around him and shooting, and yeah, but it's nowhere near as cool or interesting as a cyber demon. It is literally a fucking horse, you know? Like, cyber demon, you know, like a big demon with a cybernetic leg and a cybernetic gun, and he's shooting rockets at you. Instead, it's a horse. It's not a hard boss either, so it can't even get like on the registry of that. Like, the fuck. For how good episode 1 is, that boss is not a good way to end it off. He definitely could have done a lot more with it, but oh well. I mean, it's a Doom clone, and I guess Doom bosses, you know, at least old Doom bosses, they only have 1 attack, so I mean, I suppose if you wanted to stay true to it, you could just do that, but nah, I don't know. That, and, well, I don't really know why, but like, there's just like, there's something keeping me from giving it a 10 so far, but other than those things, like, I fucking adored Dusk. Like, this is absolutely immaculate stuff. I loved this game. Front and back, front and center. Fuck yes, I love it. I love Dusk. Very, very solid 9 out of 10, and it may go up to a 10 out of 10. I guess we'll see later, but yeah, like, wow. Was not expecting that. So yeah, we're moving on to, speaking of games I wasn't expecting to be so good. Holy fuck, we're having them back to back now. We have Black Mesa. And man, oh man, I don't even know where to start. First of all, by prefacing this by saying this. If you have not watched my last Let's Talk video, then I will share my quick thoughts on Half-Life 1. Half-Life 1 is a great game from its era. However, it has its flaws. It is not perfect. And I think people should stop acting like the game is devoid of any criticism and is completely perfect, because there are some very real issues that can be fixed with, let's say, a remake. Oh look! Black Mesa. Boom shakalaka. There we go. I was hesitant to play this game at first because I've always heard from Half-Life fans, it's like, I mean, it does some things better than Half-Life 1, but not by much. I mean, you don't really need to play it after Half-Life 1 unless you just want more Half-Life content. So that's always the impression that I got. It's like, okay, it's a fan project. It's probably not that high quality, so I'm kind of on the fence with this. But it was on sale, it was $3, and I'm like, fuck, okay, fine, I guess I'll play it. And wow, I cannot believe I'm never listening to a single Half-Life fan again. Half-Life fans are fucking weird sometimes, because I do not see a realm where this is anywhere near, like, just as weak as Half-Life 1 is, nor are they even on the same level at all, where Black Mesa only does a few things better, but they're still on the same level. Black Mesa, like, Half-Life is like the ground, and Black Mesa is like the ceiling, basically. And like the ground with the concrete on top. And who Who knows how thick that concrete is? Maybe like a few inches, but like there's a big enough difference there between the two to where I find it insane that some Half-Life fans try to treat this game as if it's not nowhere near as good as the original, or it's only slightly better. But just getting into it. On one thought, if I didn't play Half-Life 1 first, maybe I wouldn't like this game as much. But even just ignoring the fact that it is a Half-Life 1 remake, I still fucking love this game. Even if it was, if Half-Life 1 never existed, I think this game would be hailed as a masterpiece. I'm just gonna say it like that. If Half-Life 1 never existed, this game would be hailed as a masterpiece, because it should be hailed as a masterpiece. And I'm surprised it isn't. It does everything that the original game does, but it not only does it do it better, but it also does it bigger, which was actually part of my issues with the main game, but it's not an issue in this game because the dev team very clearly know what they're doing. When they go bigger, they're doing it for a purpose, and they know what they're doing when they go bigger, and we'll explain on that in a bit. The game takes chapters that I originally was not a fan of in the original game, and makes them so much better. It takes chapters that I already liked, and makes them even better, and it takes chapters that I was indifferent on and adds a bit more meat to the bone when it comes to those. So it's perfect in every single way. There is not a single chapter in this game that I think is a downgrade from Half-Life 1. Not a single one. I think every single one of them is better than the Half-Life 1 incarnations. They flow better than the Half-Life 1 incarnations, and they're more fun than the Half-Life 1 incarnations. Like, for example, I love Office Complex and Blast Pit from the original Half-Life game, and Black Mesa just spruces those both up. Like, spruces both of them up, gives Office Complex a really nice makeover, a really cool alternate path that I took on my first playthrough that I was like, whoa, what the fuck, this is really cool. They just make Blast Pit even more perfect than it already is. They remove a lot of that jankiness that the original one had, and it flows a lot better now. The monster defeat is more epic. The monster itself is a lot better. It just takes what Blast Pit already did and does it even more fantastically. And on to chapters and a questionable ethics, which I think visually got one of the biggest glow-ups in the game. I think the original questionable ethics looks good, but the remake Black Mesa takes it to a whole new level. There is something about the way that questionable ethics looks that I think it just looks fucking immaculate. The entire game looks so amazing, and it's made in the Source engine, I think. But I think they made some modifications though. It's not the raw Source engine, I don't believe. And on to stuff that I didn't like from the original, like for example, on a rail. I don't like on a rail. And this game does something wildly different with on a rail. Some people don't like it. Some people really love on a rail, and they hate the fact that this game cut away basically the entirety of that underground sequence from the original on a rail. But I don't mind that because I think it makes the chapter flow way better with the rest of the game. Because on a rail in the original Half-Life sticks out like a sore thumb because it is considerably longer than most of the chapters from that game, and it's just very weird pacing-wise. And Black Mesa just evens that out by making other chapters longer and making this one shorter. And frankly, I don't think the stuff that they cut out really damages this chapter. In fact, I actually kind of welcome it, as much as I did like some of the mechanics from the original on a rail. I think it flows better. Fighting on the cart feels better. The actual battle with the whole missile thing is way more epic, way more aura farming. Setting up the actual rocket is way better in this one. You feel so much more involved in it. Like, everything about the new on a rail that they have here is just perfect. I love how they spruced it up. I love what they did there. And on to chapters I don't like. Surface Tension went from being one of my least favorite chapters in Half-Life 1 to probably my favorite chapter in Black Mesa. And it's funny that I'm saying that because this chapter does the exact opposite of everything that I didn't like. It does the exact opposite of everything I wanted a Surface Tension remake to do. My criticism of Surface Tension, the chapter was really long. The chapter had a lot of what was super duper combat filled to the point where it was annoying. And I forgot what the third one was, but it was mainly those two. And the Black Mesa incarnation is longer and has more combat. And in spite of both of those things, I still think it's better. Way, way better. The jank is more removed. I, hot take, prefer fighting the HECU in this game compared to the original. They have the Combine AI, so that's probably why. I just love that AI a lot more. I find it to flow a lot better with battles. I mean, either AI is good, but I mean, I just like the one in this game. And the thing here is that Black Mesa just controls so much better, and it feels so much fairer than Half-Life. So this chapter by Virtuo already it already flows way better just because the game plays better. But the way that they design these encounters and expand on them is just way more smart. Now the original one did it. Like the bridge section, that was a very small section before, but now it's fucking massive. Or like the cliffside section, it was kind of small before, very unremarkable. Now it is absolutely massive. They fully realized the vision between of the cliffs and how it should look, and it is amazing. It is fantastic. All the combat flows well, the introductions, and I love the way that this chapter puts on the forefront the military's struggle against the Zen creatures, because constantly you are seeing it with your own eyes of the military struggling to fight against the Zen creatures. You see it constantly on the radios of them calling for backup and there being no backup because the backup is dead. And I like how they give the HECU more personality in this game. Like on a rail, for example, they kind of question the motives of this organization by calling into question, I was here to slaughter aliens, not innocent civilians. You get a lot of that. It's kind of shown that they didn't even know what their orders were before they dropped down. At least it's heavily implied. And that just makes it even more of a tragic situation. Because on one hand, I mean, is Gordon Freeman a bad guy for killing all of them? Maybe, but they did attack him first. But, it's just a very messy situation that neither side really knows how to control. But you really feel less like the military is an evil force, and more like they're just trying to do their best to stop this invasion by any means necessary, and unfortunately they just have orders to follow. I like that direction a lot more than what Half-Life 1 did, where they're kind of just comically evil, which works with the original Half-Life game, but it would not work with this one, I guess. But yeah, everything with surface tension, great. They also cut out the Snark Tunnel, which is great because I fucking hate the Snark Tunnel. They added, and instead of that, they added these cool research labs that have these snark infestations in them, and it's really fucking wicked. I like that they did that instead. That is way better to me. And so all that stuff, every chapter's improved and all of that, but what could a Half-Life remake really do? And the number one thing on everyone's mind would be Zen. Because Zen from the original Half-Life game is such massive missed potential that we all yearn for a good version of this really alien-looking world. And luckily, this is exactly that. Because wow, Black Mesa's Zen took my breath away in every single sense of the word. It's different too from the original Zen because, my bad there, because the original Zen was this very empty, green, almost void, almost like a void of a world. This world was dying and it's on its last strings basically. And Black Mesa flips that on its head. Zen is a full planet now, and Zen was always meant to be a planet. So I'm kind of glad, or at least an ecosystem, and this version of Zen fully realizes that there are biomes, there is fauna, there is ecosystem shit. These creatures just straight up live in Zen. They have everything they need to live there, and there's a lot of diversity in the way that they portray Zen, with either these really dark blues and purples, or the more mushy greenishes and the purplishes, and you get all of that in just the first Zen level, which is 2 whole fucking hours, and you're like, we still got 3 of these left. Technically 2, I guess, because Nihilianth doesn't really count, but we still got 2 of these left, you know? Like, dropping into Zen and hearing that music for the first time, gazing over the stars, you see the massive portal in the distance. It is fucking incredible. And I really love how it shows more and more the way that Black Mesa was researching the Zen world with all these different outposts and stuff. Like, that is great world building. And you kind of see, like, with like how they have all these outposts and how they slowly but surely start to fizzle out, and how they got infected, the HECU people that were in these suits, how they got infected, and how they ended up like this, and how that, and how it gives more of like a reason for why there are these random supplies somewhere out there. And it also, like, and another thing about Zen as well is, like, sometimes in Zen you just kind of have zero like ammo, because by the time you get to Zen, like, your ammo's already, like, it's reached the limit at this point, and you're gonna have that ammo for the next 3 levels. But in this game they don't do that. In fact, sometimes the ammo will teleport to you, which is heavily implied to be the people back at Lambda Core giving you supplies as you go through. And I like that direction a lot more than just giving you fuck all until you get to Nihilianth in the original Half-Life game, and then you get some ammo back. And that's only in the first level. Like, Zen is a gorgeous level. People say it's too long, just Zen in general, but I think it's perfectly paced. And then you get to Gonarch's Lair, and I think Gonarch's Lair easily has the biggest globe in this game. Gonarch's Lair is dog shit in the original Half-Life 1. And what they did here is insane. The way that we go from, like, this really almost beautiful world of Zen to the more deep, dark depths, and now we get these really, like, cavey and rocky terrains, very orangish, very reddish. You get further into the level, you get these really crystally caves with, like, all these, like, different Lovecraftian creatures and stuff hanging off, like, the walls. And it's just really great stuff. And Gonarch in the original game is a fucking laughingstock. In Black Mesa, though, I don't want to be put 10 foot near this tentacle ball spider, because this thing is fucking terrifying in the remake. In the original one, it runs away from you. In this remake, it's chasing you. It runs at you with full force. It rams you. It fucks you up. And it is glorious to see Gonarch do that. And this entire chapter is a boss fight in and of itself. You are constantly at different odds with the Gonarch. You go through the level and you'll get glimpses of the Gonarch as you constantly get away from it, as you both try to fight for the higher ground. And it's just so fucking cool. That is a great way to redesign this boss fight. That is such a great way to do it. And you go through this level, you're doing these puzzles, you're trying to find a way into where are you trying to find your way again? I guess you're trying to find your way into, like, to like get up the tower. I mean, I don't really know what Gordon Freeman's doing at this point, or how he knows what the fuck he's doing, but, like, that kind of thing. And you go through the level, you're constantly at up, like, different odds, but eventually, slowly but surely, even after your first encounter, you slowly start to gain the upper ground again, and that's when you get the final chase sequence of Gonarch. You're running, and finally, boom, you're on a platform with Gonarch, and this is your final stand right here, and this is where you're now both finally on even odds and can fight to the death. And then as you shoot him, like, the floor breaks, you enter the second phase, and Gonarch is just limping, throwing all the shit that he can at you, all of his head crabs, all of his explosives, and you almost kind of feel bad for her. It's apparently a she. You almost feel bad for her for doing this, because at the end of the day, Gonarch is just trying to protect her land, but you're unfortunately kind of forced to kill her because you have to do it, because you have to save the world back at Earth. And it's just really tragic stuff. And the music for it, oh my god, I didn't even talk about the music. Black Mesa, also one of my favorite soundtracks of all time in a video game. That soundtrack goes so fucking hard, especially in Zen. Like, internal conflict. Fuck me, man. So yeah, you get to Gonarch's Lair, and then you get to the chapter that everyone for some reason hates in this game, and that is Interloper. And I've never found the hate. I've always thought that Interloper was really cool. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just a big fan of really cool penultimate chapters that wrap up the game in like a really neat bow. No, okay, what am I saying here? I'm not saying that, like, everyone who, like, hates this chapter only hates it because of that. Like, I could see the reasons why some people don't like it, But to me, Interloper wraps up this game in a beautiful way before you get to fight Nihilianth. Not only do you get to, like, you get to the deepest, darkest of Zen. Instead of these, you go from, like, really beautiful fauna to rocky terrain, straight up some Lovecraftian shit. The walls are made of flesh, you can see the stitches on them. You're almost on like a giant living organism, this factory. You get to the reveal of the controllers, which actually like show you how they're controlling the Vortigons and how the Vortigons are slaves. They bring that to the forefront, which is great, because that's something that was missing from the Zen and Half-Life. You get these really, really cool, intricate puzzles. By this point in Interloper, you kind of like, you get less and less supplies being dropped to you, kind of giving you that feeling that the science team is either not able to reach you or incapacitated, and by this point you are now on your own. And you're like, well, Vortex, isn't that like the thing you hated in Zen when you ran out of ammo? And yeah, you would be right, but the game does something really fucking cool. They give you these crystals which give you infinite glue-on gun ammo. And this is the closest that Gordon Freeman's ever gotten to being the Doomslayer. Getting that infinite ammo and just melting every fucking thing in your path is funner than just having to constantly rely on ammo resources. Like, by this point in the game, like, do you really think that, like, I'm fine if I don't need to use my brain for a bit and I just get to glue on gun shit, like, because that's just awesome, you know? It creates some really cool set pieces where, because you have infinite glue-on gun ammo, they can just throw a fuck ton of enemies at you, and by that point you're basically playing a Doom game, and it's really fun stuff. It's really fun stuff, and it just constantly is going through these different set pieces, or like these really fleshy like reactor core factories, and then you go through these waters, and you get onto these like conveyor belts that are like constructing these monsters and these machines, and then you finally get to the final point of it with this elevator ride, and you have to like fight off these things as you ride up the elevator to the last stand just to get to Nihilianth. And it is, like I said, it wraps up the game in such a neatly tied bow before we actually get to Nihilianth. Everything about it is just mwah, like très bien, très bien. It is so fucking good. And speaking of Nihilianth, who is also dogshit in Half-Life 1, got one of the biggest glow-ups of all time because he's, honest to God, one of my favorite FPS bosses ever made. Probably one of my favorite video game bosses. Nihilianth got a glorious redesign. Okay, well, not redesign, as in the fight. The design itself looks good. Maybe it doesn't look as good as Half-Life 1's, but I mean, both are pretty good in their own right. But where it really shines is just the way the fight just, like, oh my god, like, I don't even know where to start. It's like a 4-phase fight. You start off, he has these crystals which you have to destroy. You have to dodge his attacks. Attacks include making portals to the real world and throwing forklifts and police cars at you. Like, that, say what you want about it, like, oh, it's losing, like, the threatening factor. That is cool as fuck, okay? And, oh, I didn't even mention this, but another thing I really like about Zen is the fact that it actually makes the long jump a fucking mechanic. The long jump is an actual mechanic that you constantly use throughout Zen. It's actually shown to you. It's not just a secret mechanic that you suddenly have to learn as soon as you get to Zen in Half-Life. I really like that. And they use it to really great effect in this battle, because you're constantly going to be having to use that and manage your energy in order to dodge all these attacks, all while you destroy the crystals. But even after you do that, it's like, oh, I still have a shield. So now you have to, like, break pieces of that shield so you can, like, break into, like, the Nihilianth and break into, like, his armor, like, break into, like, his skin and stuff. And, like, there's all these, like, different armor pieces, you know? You have to, like, break them just so you can, like, hit him and shit. And it's, like, very engaging stuff. Like, the fight's, like, he spawns rooms from the real world and teleports them there, which give you more ammo supplies. But anyway, once you deal enough damage, he just goes full-on insane wacko mode, throws all the shit that he can at you, just constant waves and waves of lasers and just constant stuff. You hit him enough times and he opens his head, and then you get to this final sequence where you just break that crystal and he just goes flying up as he throws everything at you, and then whoosh, you get teleported away and you just watch his portal explode. Man. And I was kind of scared for the ending because I already knew, like, yes, the G-Man is going to be here, but there's no way they're going to get the original guy to voice it. But whoever voiced G-Man in this game, they did a pretty fucking good job, I gotta say. One of the better G-Man impressions I've said. Like, obviously, nothing is ever going to replace Ben Shapiro. I think that's how you say his name. Like, no, Mike. I think it's Mike Shapiro. I think it's Mike Shapiro. I forgot, but it's like Mike something. Whoever voices G-Man, like, you're never going to replace G-Man, so you might as well do something different. And that's exactly what the guy that voiced him did. And he did a fantastic job. Ties the game up in such a neatly tied bow. Fucking awesome. Oh my god. I could yap about this game for days. I love Black Mesa so much. It is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. I love Black Mesa so much. Absolutely going to be my preferred way to play Half-Life 1 now. I do not care, but it doesn't fit with Half-Life 2, blah blah. I don't care. I don't care. In fact, it's almost as good as Half-Life 2. I do not care how good the original Half-Life 1 is or how Half-Life 1 fits into Half-Life 2. This is just a better version of Half-Life 1. Which is a controversial take, I know, but it is just a better version of Half-Life 1. If you've played both of them, then this is the definitive edition. Like, this is the one you should play. Fucking love this game. My god. But yeah, yeah. That is going to be Black Mesa. And luckily, we are going to be going to where was I going this? Oh right, yeah. We're going to be moving on to more Half-Life because we're going to be talking about Half-Life Opposing Force. The expansion to Half-Life 1. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be as positive on this one because here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. I like Opposing Force, but it shares a lot of the same issues that Half-Life 1 unfortunately has. And I'll explain most of them. So, I'll start off with the positives. I think that the concept for this game is amazing. Having a just a regular old military guy, especially one that was called in like one that was called in right after everything started really getting out of hand for the military. Like by this point, it's like surface tension, forgot about Freeman. I think that's when the story takes place. That kind of perspective is terrifying, and they realize it extremely well in this game. It fits very well with Half-Life 1, and it's like and how it fits into like its lore and its story, all that stuff. I think that Opposing Force has far and away the best loadout in the Half-Life series because oh my god, the weapons in this game are so fucking cool. You have a grappling hook, you have like a full auto weapon, you have a sniper rifle, which, let's face it, is a better version of the crossbow. You have all these other really alien weapons, one that can teleport, one that like spits like these snarks, which just fucking melts everything in its path. They got really wacky with the weapons, and I love that. I think the game is really fun for the most part, because the new weapons, like, they get to throw a lot more shit at you, and the new weapons get used to a very good effect with that. And it's just really, how would I say this? Like, it's just really interesting to see the game from this perspective, because they introduce a lot of new and interesting gimmicks, like Crush Depth, which is like a chapter built on like water, or like Vicarious Realities, or like where it's like kind of like building up to like this new creature like Race X, and it's like, what the fuck are these things? They're basically like Zen creatures, but they're like stronger, and it's like, wow, can't wait to learn more about those guys. And there's like a lot of great sections in these games relating to that, and just other sections in general. Like, I think for the first half of the game is genuinely really solid, you know, like, it's great stuff. It's sort of simple, but that works in its favor. However, it's still in the Half-Life 1 engine, so unfortunately it adds its jank to it. Ladders still suck ass. Parts of the game still feel gravely unfair, even before the second half of the game. And there's a lot of weird quirks to it that Half-Life 1 also has that I'm just not a big fan of. And just like Half-Life 1, it shits the bed in the last part. Not as badly as Half-Life 1, but it still shits the bed nonetheless. I think Foxtrot Uniform is good. It gets a little annoying in the end, but the rest of that chapter is good. But the package and Worlds Collide, yeah, fuck no. I was tired of fighting these Black Ops guys. I just wanted to get this game over with. It was exhausting. I did not like the package or Worlds Collide at all. Especially Worlds Collide because I almost went fucking deaf. I swear to God, the cargo sounds almost made me have an aneurysm. Why are they so damn loud? Turn them down! And that as well, the combat's whatever. Like, the Black Ops combat is nowhere near as fun as, like, HECU combat. They're weirdly too complex and not complex enough at the same time. They take way too many hits to be taken down, just like HECU, which I do not like. I don't know, man. These last few chapters just... Especially Worlds Collide, because whereas Half-Life 1 ends on a really shit boss, I will admit that then the Hillianth is memorable. Memorable in his shittiness, but memorable in that he is a really cool creature with some really cool lore. So in that department, like, he at least succeeds in that. What does the giant worm do? The giant pit worm. What lore and significance does this little fucker have? Nothing. And is this boss fight a complete and utter shitfest when it comes to boss design? No. It's just mediocre pizza. It's pepperoni pizza. Because pepperoni pizza is mid, but, like, you get the point. Like, it's just a very average, mediocre fight, which starts off interesting because it's like, okay, I gotta shoot these eyes, and then this bridge breaks, so it's like, oh, like, is it gonna switch up every time? No. It never switches up after that. It's the same shit. You go down, you kill the extra enemy spawns, you grapple back up, you shoot his eyes, and you repeat that 6 times. It is boring as fuck. It is like, it almost put me to sleep. I'm like, Jesus Christ, can this thing die already so I can finish the game? Like, this is mid. What is this, bro? Like, dog. Oh my god. Half-Life and just shitting the bed at the end of the game. At least Half-Life 2 doesn't do that. And even then, I'd say the ending of Half-Life 2 is the weakest part of it. So, fuck, I guess they're always doomed to have shit endings. But, okay, actually, no, because the ending to this game, the boss is not good, but the actual ending to this game of, like, the G-Man, sending Adrian Shepard to, like, this fucking black space area is really unnerving stuff, and it really shows the amount of power that the G-Man has that he just doesn't really use, because I guess he just doesn't feel like it or whatever. Like, I don't really know why he doesn't use his powers more, but, like, it's a really chilling ending, especially since if these games are canon, does this mean that Adrian's been stuck there for, like, years? Like, he must be like a decomposed corpse at this point. Like, holy fuck. The dude's good. Like, how does he even survive like that? My gosh. But yeah, like, short review, but Half-Life Opposing Force was good. 8 out of 10, because, like, the opening part is still really strong, but yeah, just like Half-Life 1, it kind of shits the bed in the last half, and it just isn't as memorable as Half-Life 1, besides the loadout. But yeah. And the final game we're going to be reviewing is Powerwash Simulator. All I know is Powerwash. I have 121 hours in this game. I have washed everything. I have washed everything. I have washed everything that can be washed. All the career stuff, all the bonus shops, and all the specials that are free. Not the paid specials yet, but all the specials. There's nothing left for me to power wash. All I know is power wash and power wash. I'm giving this game a power wash out of 10. So yeah. And those are going to be the game reviews. Wow, this is going to be a long one. Holy shit. Oof, I'm looking at that runtime. That's going to be a nightmare to export. Lord knows I'm not editing this video that much. So yeah, those are the games that I'm talking about today. We're going to be talking about more of them later on in probably like a few days, because I have a lot of free time now, so I can really pump out these Let's Talk videos. Like I said in my community post, I have a few ideas that I'm going to pump out, and yeah, so those are just the games we're talking about today, but we're going to be talking about a few others, as I said, that I'm not covering here because they need their own video. But we're going to end this off, as I usually do, by talking about the games in my library. What is next on the chopping block? And I'll tell you, we have Doom Eternal, The Ancient Gods Part 1 and Part 2. I didn't buy these when I first played Doom Eternal because I heard they weren't that good. I played Doom Eternal, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, I need more Doom Eternal. I gotta play these. I've heard great things about Part 1, but Part 2 I've heard is the mixed one, so we'll see how that one goes. I'm also playing Doom 64, to finally close out the final, after this will like, because this is the final Doom game that I haven't played, save for the Doom Eternal DLCs, and I want to finish both of these before, Dark Ages DLC comes out. Of course, Doom the Dark Ages Revelations, like, I'm already going to pre-order that game, basically, because I'm getting the premium edition for, the premium upgrade for Dark Ages, so I've basically already bought the game, but yeah, like, incredibly excited for it. Gonna be great. Half-Life Blue Shift, because it's one of the only Half-Life games I haven't played yet, and I played Opposing Force, so I gotta play this game now. Dench Attack, when it does come out, which will be in, like, July, looks really fucking cool. If you haven't seen it or played it, I'd advise you to go get the demo. It is really, really good. And this is an interesting one. Elden Ring. Look, I've never played a Souls game before. This is my first experience, so I don't know if this is a mistake or not, but I'm gonna try. What the fuck was that? Oh, it was just my cat. Okay, I don't forget that. But yeah, I'm going to try to beat Elden Ring, or at least get through most of it. I want to beat it. That's my goal, but we'll see what happens. I might drop it if I don't like the gameplay, but I mean, I've just been watching a lot of Moist Critical playing Elden Ring, and I don't know, I just got the hunger to do it, and I feel, yeah, that's just where I am. I also got Titanfall 2 on the list. I've never played Titanfall 1. It's not on Steam, so I don't feel like playing Titanfall 1. If it's on, like, because it's probably on the EA store or whatever, and fuck no, I'm not doing that, so. Sorry, Titanfall 1, but hopefully I don't need to play it to understand the story of this. We got Mouse PI for hire. I didn't get this game on launch because no money, but hopefully it will go on sale for at least a little bit so I can play it, and it's gonna be pretty great stuff. Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 because I got into Portal, I got into Half-Life, and this is the next Valve franchise that I'm gonna have to get into. And I didn't play these for the longest time because I thought they were co-op only, but no, they have single player modes, so yeah. And I have a friend that has Left 4 Dead, so fuck, probably just gonna play with him. And finally, Devil May Cry 5. I've never played a Devil May Cry game before, so hopefully I don't need to play the others to understand this one. I'm really just interested in Devil May Cry 5, but the game looks fucking sick. I love hack and slashes. Yeah, it just looks really skibbity toilet. Among Us Imposter. So yeah. Those are the games in the library, and we are going to wrap up this video because I'm losing my fucking voice. I've been talking for almost 2 hours. So, yeah, I'm back. New video soon. My next video will probably be, I have a few. It's either going to be my video on the Subnautica franchise or my game genre tier list, which is going to be a Let's Talk special, I guess. It's going to be one of the two, and if it's not either of them, then I will say which one, like which other one it is, because I have like 3 other ones besides those 2 that I'm also going to be making. So, yeah, that's about it. I'm back. Expect some content this summer, and yeah. I will see you all later in the next Let's Talk video. Hopefully you enjoyed listening to me talk for almost 2 fucking hours. I apologize. But yeah, that's been that. Always down to talk about some gaming on the channel. And that is going to be about it. So I will see you all later and have a nice rest of your days or nights, I guess. Goodbye.